Question for Manager Peter Vermes.
Does he want us to wait or no?
No. Who's got the microphone?
Really? Good question. I don't think we played very well in the first half. I thought we were a little choppy with the ball, and I thought even though we knew how they were going to play, very direct like they did, I thought at times we just found ourselves a little bit disorganized. And so I think the second half, though, we changed it up a little bit and talked about what we kind of needed to make sure that we did. The other part of that was, too, is that we also were losing the ball quite a bit in the first half, just little silly areas, which then put us under pressure and got us all stretched out. We deserved, excuse me, we deserved the goal for sure. Tim, a lot of times what happens is goalkeepers don't have a lot of big saves to make during a game. And what you're hoping is that when they are called upon to make the big save, that they do, and he did that today. For me, he saved, a minimum of 2 points. And so that momentum right there changed dramatically. Because I think if they would have scored, they would have felt good about themselves, and they would have kept pushing and had, maybe found a little bit more energy. But I think then not scoring, then us now all of a sudden woke us up a little bit more. We went into halftime with a much different mentality, and there was a lot of choppy things that were happening in the game as well, and I thought the referee actually did a decent job in the game, and no doubt that it was a second yellow.
With Tim specifically in the PKs, what kind of goes into the background to get ready for a play like that?
I just told him that the guy was shooting over there, and so he dove that way. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. Well, there's a lot of studying that goes on to know where certain guys shoot on their team. One. Two is I think every goalkeeper's got their own technique or routine that they do in that situation, and I don't think most of them would ever divulge what that is, just because they don't want to tell anybody other than they guessed right.
He's a big Philly fan.
Could you just talk about Ilie's composure and having to wait before he took his PK?
It's never easy taking a penalty kick, because that's one of the biggest problems. Is that there's all the approach work that goes on, right? Guys come over, they're arguing with the referee. The goalkeeper is standing outside of his goal. There's just all these things that have to be managed before the PK is taken. And so he's a very calm guy. He's also a very professional guy. And I would expect him, and there's a couple other guys on our team that obviously can. They're cold as ice in those moments. So it was well taken by him. Hit it with good pace. When you hit it and the goalkeeper goes to the same side, a lot of times you hit it because you're scoring, and you hit it with pace. It's when you see a guy that misses, a lot of times it's because he plays it and he's almost like unsure of whether that's the right side or not.
Peter, once again, Johnny was an instigator out there. Speak to his activity, his attitude, and how it unnerves defenses.
I think there's no doubt that it's very evident that if you just look at all the games that we've played up until now, and I'm even talking about the Toluca games, and they're not even in our league, that there is definitely, the teams understand that he is a very dangerous player, and almost all teams do the same thing. They try to slow him up enough so that they can get help. They stack him with two defenders always, at a minimum. And so with that being said, he's done a good job of finding other guys in those moments. But there's going to be some players that are going to fall asleep during the course of the season, and he's going to tear them up because he's got that kind of quality 1v1.
Was there any concern Namath was not as involved today, you might say, on that side?
No. I know you guys have this focus on a number 9, but I'm going to tell you something. He is for me, he is a fantastic number 9. The stuff that he does, like just at the end of the game, the ball that we win, they play it forward to him. He lays it back to Rowe. Rowe plays it back to him. He plays the 1-2 again with him across the field. To be able to play those balls while he's on the run like he is of another level. He's done very well for us. I think that at times, because he is a different forward that we have had in the past here, that we still are not playing him the type of balls that should be going, because he's actually open in these unbelievable moments, and he's ready for it. And the other thing that he has a great quality at is that there's a time for a center forward to be selfish, and then there's other times that you want them to be unselfish. Most of them can't figure that out. They only want to be selfish because they want to score. He has a great ability to bring other players into the game. And so it's one of the reasons why I left him out on the field today, because I thought that he was helping us in other ways that, it made sense to give some other guys a rest.
Buzio, the youngest player to start an MLS game in Children's Mercy Park, drew the penalty. What did you see from him out on the field today?
I say it always. It's remarkable, and I say that because he's 16, and he's playing out there with some guys that are double his age. He wasn't even born yet, and those guys were maybe playing in academies already. And for him to have the kind of maturity he does have on the field, and he really does. He has incredible street smarts in the game. He sees things that other guys don't. So I thought the 70 minutes, 72 minutes, whatever it is that he played, it was great. He was dying out a little bit there at the end. Probably could have taken him off 5 minutes earlier, but I think it was great to push him to the 70. He has I say it all the time, he has an incredible future, and it's not just because he's a good soccer player, but he's a really, really good kid. And this is what he wants to do, and he works at it regularly. He doesn't have doesn't have this big ego and all these other things that you could have if you were 16 years old, being on a professional team. But for him to go out and play the way he does against men, and he's still growing in so many ways, physically as well. But he can play. He's great performance by him.
And you spoke briefly about Tim. He's now more than double the league average in penalty save rate, and he's made plenty of other good saves. Do you think he's starting to enter sort of the Jimmy Nielsen, Tony Meola tier for this club in terms of best goalkeepers we've had?
Tim has been very good for us. I would say that he's definitely no disrespect to other goalkeepers, but I think that you have to also always add in if somebody's won, and he's won some stuff here with us as well. Whereas I think some other goalkeepers that have been here that have been pretty good, they didn't win. So I would say that he's getting there, right? He's a good goalkeeper.
Botan played well today. What did you see from him? It seemed like he's really getting into the role next to Beasler and understanding that, filling it out.
I think he's a really good central defender. I think the games that he's getting right now are probably a little bit earlier than I would have hoped, to be honest with you, because I always think it's really important for players to see our league, especially defenders, because see, attacking guys a lot of times, if they mess up defensively, they got people behind them. Defenders don't. And so a lot of times I just like them to see what our league is all about and what the players are like in our league, because they're different than our league plays differently than other leagues in the world. And so they come from a place and they expect one thing, and then something completely different comes at them and they haven't seen it before. So, but with that being said, he's done well. He's a very calm player. Sometimes he's a little bit nonchalant in certain situations, but all in all, he's a very good central defender, reads the game really well, very good on the ball. And it's pretty crazy, in how we found him, how he's here, and the fact that he actually fits what we need really, really well, and is a young guy, 26 years old.
And he played a couple of really nice balls over the top there to Jerso. I don't want to say that's not something that we've known that's part of his game. Is that something that you've seen, that ability to play the balls that kind of like Matt has over the top to those attackers and stuff like that? He's
very good. He's very good at reading the game in front of him and being a part of the attack. He sees that really well. Whether it's a vertical ball, a diagonal ball, he just has the touch for it, and he can read the game. And again, a lot of central defenders can't do that. A lot of them just get it and they just whack it up the field. So, yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
No?
Oh.
Now I can.
No. Okay, basically, first assignment is passed, 3 points on home Children Mercy Park, but it's not over. In less than 3-4 days, we have another game with Independiente of Panama, and after that, in 3
And then
days,
it's not over after that.
exactly, and after
Right,
that, Colorado,
right.
and after that, Colorado
correct.
is coming. How's the team? How's the rotations? How is Fontas for the what is coming?
I would say at this moment, Fontas is probable. He's doing a lot better. The good thing about today is that it's simple. When you're trying to navigate two competitions like we are, the key is to try to keep focus on the one that you're playing presently. And so to get the points we got today, they keep us competitive within the league, which is important. Now we can take our focus off the league and now put it towards Champions League. We have a big challenge ahead of us. The Panama team is good. They're not going to go away easily, no chance. It's going to be an incredible game for us. We're going to have to be ready in so many different ways. But the good thing is now we got this behind us, and now we can put our focus into that. And the other thing is that it's good it's Thursday night because it gives us an extra day rest. And so I feel this is the same thing that happened for us, like I said to the guys before, and I haven't said it to them now, but I said it to them back then. And we played at Toluca. In a lot of ways, we couldn't have played a better game. And we also got a blessing in disguise in the red card. Today, getting the red card helped us as well because I can tell you right now, I know when I look at the data, on the physical data, that our outputs won't be like, say, like the LAFC game. Because that was 10v10, 11v11, and that was up and down. It was a great game to watch, to see two teams going at it. A lot of energy expended. This game, not the same. It was more like the Toluca game. Yeah. So what that means is hopefully you can have a lot more energy for Thursday night.
Next question is, as Peter Vermes as a sport director, are you seeing Bucio, with your experience, international experience, are you seeing Bucio as an international material? You think this soon is going to be in leagues in Europe? I think today he played awesome on Panama. He was great. And he's just 16. You think? Do you see him on Europe leagues soon?
I see him again as a very, very big potential. That's what I can tell you is he has all the qualities. He really does. To be able to play, it's I don't know how else to explain it. When we forget too often that he's 16 years old because he plays so well with the group and he fits in. He's mature. I mean, if you just really sit back and think for a second, you sit with guys that have families, they have kids and, they have houses and all this other stuff. And he's 16. He calls his mom after the game, not because he wants to say hi, but he's calling his mom because he's probably asking her if he can stay out later tonight. You know what I mean? I mean, the kid's got a totally different world. So, but he's incredibly mature. And then his soccer qualities, when you see him out there on the field, it's not like you go, oh, you can tell that he's you think he's one of the main guys. He's got incredible potential.
Coach, with Johan Croze, Felipe Gutierrez, and Johnny Russell now in their sophomore season with the team, how impactful is that did you see today for them to now be in their second year? What kind of lessons did they bring?
Well, first I'd say one of our main objectives last year coming into this year was to try to return as many of the players as we could that we thought that were going to help us move forward into this year. And all those guys were players that we really worked hard to get here, and they're